Welcome to One Pot Paradise, where we bring the bold and vibrant flavors of Jamaica, Caribbean, and America straight to your kitchen. From authentic island classics like jerk chicken, oxtail, and curried goat, to hearty American comfort food and creative fusion dishes, we show you how to whip up delicious, mouth-watering meals with ease. Our goal is to inspire you to explore new flavors, embrace your love for cooking, and turn every meal into a delicious celebration. If you love what you see, don't forget to subscribe to One Pot Paradise for more flavorful recipes. Hit that like button and share our videos with your friends and family. Let's spread the joy of cooking and eating together.
So first thing, we have our oxtail cleaned. Sometimes you need to trim more fat, sometimes you don't. And then of course it's rinsed with vinegar and water. I'm just gonna add some oxtail seasoning. You can use whatever your favorite brand is. You can even use beef seasoning. And there's some paprika here. Of course, I'll leave the details in the description box below the video. So I'm adding some black pepper. You can use white pepper if you prefer. And then I'm going to go in with some crushed allspice berries. You can use a whole pimento if you want, a whole allspice if you want to. Then some brown sugar. This is going to help the oxtail brown up really nicely, and a little sweetness in the oxtail is not too bad either. And then I'm using green seasoning. This is a blend of garlic, scotch bonnet, ginger, onion, scallion, thyme. I do have the details in the description box below. Now usually I like to do my burnt sugar technique in my Dutch pot for my oxtail, but I'm not doing that today, so I'm adding some browning. Of course, browning is used a lot in Caribbean cooking just to add some color. Alright, so just rub everything now. Rub everything into that meat. Make sure you season it properly. Alright, if you feel like your seasoning is very salty, then be careful if you add salt, okay? So we'll cover this up and refrigerate it. It's best to marinate this for at least 24 hours in the fridge. Really, really nice when you do that. So when you're ready, you'll get your Instant Pot and then select the saute setting. Then add some oil, and you can add a little butter as well. And then what we're going to do is sear the meat. So we're going to just spread this out, stir it around so that all the surface is greased. And then we're just gonna sear the oxtail on both sides. So because we're not using the stovetop method, this might take a little bit longer to get that color. So maybe 1.5 to 2 minutes on each side. You can just take a look at it to make sure that it's getting that color. It doesn't have to be super dark, okay? After searing the oxtail, like all of it, set it aside, and then you have some of that seasoning sticking to the bottom. That's fine. I'm just going to pour this liquid from that marinade bowl, right, in there, and then I'm going to add some veggies. I'll be adding some onion and some carrot, some bell pepper. You could use tomato if you prefer. I switch it up sometimes. And then some garlic. I'm going to add a piece of butter just to help loosen up those seasonings, because the sugar and the seasoning, everything is caramelized under there. So we're just going to loosen that up and stir the veggies around a little bit. Then we will add some water to deglaze that and loosen it up even further. So I'll go in with the water, and then this is going to help to loosen things up. We'll just stir it around, and then I'm adding some soy sauce, and I'm going to go in with some ketchup. Now, when you're doing oxtail, a little ketchup doesn't hurt. Just don't put too much because you don't want the sauce to be red. You don't want it to be super tomato tasting. But a little ketchup does help. I enjoy it that way. Leave it out if you don't like it. You can even use tomato paste if you prefer, but I like a little ketchup in my oxtail. I'm gonna add a few sprigs of thyme in there, not too much, and then some minced Scotch bonnet pepper. Add as much as you can handle. And then go in with the oxtail pieces that were browned before. You don't have to completely cover the oxtail with liquid. So once you close this, make sure it's on sealing, and then we're going to pressure cook this for 40 to 50 minutes. And then after that, do a natural release, so allow it to rest. Then you can open it up, and then we are going to work on the gravy. But first, use a ladle or something to scoop off any excess fat that you might see there. There might be quite a bit of oil, so just use your ladle and scoop off the excess. Then we need to take the oxtails out because we're going to work on the gravy. If I was doing this on stovetop, of course, I wouldn't have to do this, but we have the Instant Pot here. We have to handle it a little bit differently. If you're using a huge Instant Pot and you have lots of space, then you might not need to take them out, but I need to take them out. So this is going to be set back to saute because we're trying to reduce the gravy now. Alright, so we're going to give it a stir. It's going to start bubbling because it's on the saute and that's very high heat. Then add some scallion, and we're going to go in with a slurry. For my traditional oxtail on the stovetop, I don't use a slurry because when I simmer it down, everything just works out perfectly fine. But with the Instant Pot, I find that a slurry helps. It's a mixture of cornstarch and water. While adding this, guys, you have to stir constantly so that lumps don't form. Make sure you're stirring the bottom of the Instant Pot so nothing sticks. You have to do that, okay? Because remember, the Instant Pot surface is different from your regular Dutch pot. Then I'm adding some Worcestershire sauce. This is optional. You can stick to pick a pepper or some more soy sauce like I'm adding here, just to give it more color and even more flavor. And then I'm adding more fresh thyme. You want to taste the gravy, guys, to make sure that it has enough flavor at this point. I'm gonna add a whole Scotch bonnet because I'm not pressure cooking, so I can control the heat. And then what we're going to do is leave this on saute, stir occasionally, and we're going to allow it to reduce somewhat so the gravy gets a little bit richer. So I'm going to add the oxtails back to the gravy because you want the oxtail to absorb all of that nice gravy. Okay, so make sure you add it to the gravy as it reduces, and keep checking the bottom of the pot to make sure it's not sticking. Use something like a wooden spoon or silicone spoon to check the bottom so that nothing is sticking. Alright, then stir in the butter beans. Of course, we can't leave that out. Traditionally, we love to add butter beans to oxtail in Jamaica. If you don't want to, you don't have to, okay? But it's a really nice addition. Remember to stir this in gently. Keep checking the bottom of the Instant Pot to make sure nothing is sticking, especially if you have a small space you're working with. So all we're doing now, guys, is leaving it on the saute setting to allow the gravy to reduce and to allow the oxtail to absorb all the flavor of the gravy. Alright, that's what we're doing. You have to allow the oxtail some time to absorb that gravy, or else it's not going to be flavorful. Just pay attention to the pot. Alright, and then this is it, guys. Beautifully reduced. Some of the bean has mashed out, so it adds to the thickness of the gravy. Absolutely delicious and juicy. You can have this with some plain rice or rice and peas or gungo. peas with rice, but either way it's delicious. So give it a try and come back and let me know how it worked out for you. I'll see you next time.